Welcome, everyone, to our prayer journey with My Toad Daily Devotion. I hope at this particular time, you're looking in at this devotion, you're in a good state of mind. But if not, I want you to be encouraged, because what I'm going to read to you today and tell you of what happened in history, that you will be encouraged to overcome whatever difficulty that you may have in your life. David was a man of difficulties. He was sometimes his own doing, but he was on the run often and was oppressed, and they seeked for his life, and God constantly delivered him. So he writes this psalm, and I'm going to read just two verses from it. Listen to it carefully. Psalm 27, verses 2 and 3. When evildoers come at me to eat up my flesh, even my adversaries and my foes, they stumbled and fell. Though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise up against me, even then I will be confident. Is this confidence in himself? No, it is confidence in the Lord. And here's the encouraging thing. If you know the Lord, he's with you. If you call upon the name of the Lord, he will hear you, and he will respond. Let me bring you to a scene of the war that had happened in Israel in 1973, known as the Yom Kippur War, or the October War. They also called it Ramadan War, and I think the most famous call out for it is the Arab-Israel War. And what had happened during the holidays, the defenses, of course, are down on the Israeli side. And a host of Arab nations wanted to take back the Golan Heights. So they make a surprise assault onto the Israels. There in Israel is 6 tanks on one of the hills, and 250 tanks are approaching them. The 6 tanks go to the peak of the hill, and they look down and they see tanks everywhere. I could imagine somebody maybe on Yom Kippur that was in the military, had to be in this tank at this time, could be reading this very thing. Though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise up against me, even then I will be confident. Well, I heard some of the soldiers in these documentaries come to the thing and look down, and they put their hands on their head. But they knew reinforcements couldn't get there for a long time. So they had to do what they had to do. And they had to fight off this enemy. And the prong attack comes in deep and almost severs the country. But as David said in the first part, the evildoers came at me to eat me up, my flesh, even my adversaries and my foes, and they stumbled and fell. In fact, they made a great strategic mistake. They had pushed back Israel so far in that if they would have went over the Jordan River, they would have won the victory almost totally. But they didn't go right away, which gave time, because they thought they had 20 hours for Israel to be able to respond with their tanks and load them with their equipment. Excuse me. But Israel was able to do it in 10. And eventually they pushed back their foe, and they pushed him out of their country and actually went into Syria. So what is the lesson here? I want you to put yourself in the mindset of these people with the tanks. They were outgunned by 200 tanks in the initial with the 6. They were outgunned 7 tanks to 1. They were outgunned with artillery, and yet they were able to enact a victory. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but victory is in the Lord. Do not give up. Call upon the name, and thou shalt be saved. So perhaps you're sitting here and you don't know the Lord, and your life's a mess. Or you don't even think it's a mess, but you're not happy. Something's wrong. Check the description of this video. It'll tell you how you can find and have a relationship with the Lord God. The Lord God who put together this Bible where this verse comes from. So until next time, may Jesus increase as we decrease.